Hey guys, what is up, and welcome back to another video. Today we're back again for another episode of Goattville Updates, and last week I had another episode of Goattville Updates which I just showed off my progress on the Italian mansion, which I was working on for like over a month. So I decided for this episode I kind of, change location, so you'll never guess where I am right now. We're actually in the city. We haven't worked on the city in about a year was the last time we really worked on it, because the last thing we were working on was the train station, which is over this way. And I just recently got back into working on some bits of the city, and I'm just coming to realize it's actually like a really nice city. I'm pretty sure I have a lot of new people here who aren't familiar with a lot of the work I've done here over in the city area, but it's actually very nice, very nice. I'm quite proud of how everything has turned out and how detailed it is from the outside and from the inside, and by that I mean when you look at it from a distance, it looks just as good as it does when you're on the street views, because everything's got nice lovely details, and it feels like a nice alive city. It could use some more cars, but I'm not about that. I don't feel like making a bunch of cars. But this is the train station which we were working on about a year ago, probably around not exactly a year ago. It was last November, I believe, was when I started working on this, and I have a good amount of the exterior finished. I probably need to do a little bit more work on the back and on the side walls where, people are actually going to be, and where some parts of it are not completed. And some of the interior is just kind of, a basic layout. The floor, it's quite nice. It's a little bit big, but I suppose that doesn't make too much of a problem when you have a massive train station like this. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people walking around, and a nice lovely skylight to make some nice natural lighting. But aside from that, the train station has really nothing much to it. It's far from a completed build, and it will probably stay like that for a while, because I'm going to get started on a new project, and that's what this updates video is all about. I'm just going to be highlighting my plans for a new project, so you don't have to see another 6 episodes of me working on the Italian mansion. We'll come back to that a little bit later. So I've mostly been working on expanding out some of the roads and sort of getting stuff into position, coming up with some plans. So let's just go over here. This used to just be a big empty plot, and here I've set up a few things. I might have to rearrange a couple things, because I started building this with one idea in mind, but then I came up with a better idea, and now this road is going to have to be probably shortened down a bit. So right off here to the side of the train station, because this wall is going up at such a weird angle and I had no idea what to put there, I decided I would have a sidewalk going right here, continuing the sidewalk which runs through the entire city, and right here will be a big sort of parking lot, and it's a rather large parking lot, and I'll get to that in just a little bit, explaining as to what that means. But over here, I just decided, we have such a narrow space right here, so I decided to add this small little canal with like a bunch of, it'd be like a sewer drain, for rainwater and stuff like that. So I just sort of threw this nice lovely thing right here. Let's just hope the smells aren't too much of a problem, but I had nothing else to put there, so I decided to put that there. And you might be wondering what this is. This this definitely will relate to the thing that I'm building, but this was just something that I decided to put in here. You can see some green stained clay down there. You might be wondering what that is, but that is going to be like that's going to be like the only visible portion that I'm going to leave of the original football stadium that I had down here. I originally had a football stadium plans, but then I took that all down when I realized that it wasn't really the best thing to put there, and I put the train station on top of that. So when all of this is covered, this will be a little a memorial to that. The football stadium that stood for a year before it was taken down about a year ago as well. Time seems to fly, but this relates to the building, because my next project is going to be a museum. Yeah, very nice. So I was deciding between a museum and a stadium. Those were the two main ideas that I had, and I would have gone with the stadium, but I really don't have the time for that. I kind of want to make these episodes a bit more engaging, not just for the audience but for me, because I don't feel like spending the next 2 months working on just a stadium when it's just going to be filling in a bunch of blocks at in just for a bunch of time. So I decided a museum would be a much better alternative to that. So I do have some plans in terms of the stuff that I'm going to build, and it's mostly going to be based around Goattville, my YouTube channel, and maybe some other normie museum stuff, like dinosaur skeletons or paintings and stuff like that. So this is where it's going to be, just this kind of area, because it's going to be a rather weird design for it. It's not just going to be a big building. It's going to be quite interesting. So I'm going to get out some materials. Let's get some red wool. That's my normal planning block. Let's get some of that, and I'm just going to be just sort of designing what I'm going to be doing in here. I'm going to turn on this so I can actually see what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm pretty much just going to be describing what I'll be sort of building in the next coming episodes. So it's going to kind of be in like two weird shapes. One bit of it's going to be over there, one bit of it's going to be over there, and they're going to be connected by this little bridge going over the road. I think it will turn out quite nice. So this is going to be like the main part, but it's also going to be like the smaller part. So we'll have like a corner over here or something like that. Maybe not that close. We'll mark out one corner right here. And we might have to change that, and then like the other corner will be over there. I probably won't mark that out, but it's going to be about, I'm guessing that's about 40 to 50 blocks wide. I'm not too sure. Am I estimating in? And this is not too good, but it's going to be about that length long, and then that length times 2 is going to be this, which is, yeah, width times 2. So it's going to be like a true proper rectangle. So this would probably come out to about right here, I'm guessing. So we can just build this up a little bit and mark this corner. I believe this is the height that we're at. Yeah, that looks about right. So I was a couple blocks off, but you know what, we can just do this, and maybe that would be a little bit closer. So that's going to be sort of what it is, and it's going to be pretty much the same thing over there, just aligned with how that road is going to go over that way. There's a bunch of other builds out there, but that's from other people, so those are probably going to be taken out for, whatever. But this is going to be the main part, and this is going to be like the main Goattville museum part, so I'm not too sure exactly what I'm going to put in there, but stuff relating to Goattville. I'll probably have, like some flags and some fake history of Goattville and stuff like that. So, and maybe like some models of some of the famous buildings in Goattville. Some scaled down models would be quite interesting. So yeah, we'll have that, and then over this way, around right here, I'm guessing about a third of the way in for this wall, we'll have a little sky bridge going over, which we'll just mark with a little dotted line like this. Going over to the other side, and the sky bridge is going to be like, it's not really a sky bridge, it's more like a what would you call that, just a small bit off the ground bridge. It's going to be rather wide because there's going to be a lot of people going in between, just because the two different places are going to be so massive. But yeah, I also forgot to mention that this museum is going to have a bit of a twist. It's not just based around Goattville and history and basic stuff like that. It's going to have another edition that's kind of like a museum, but it's not really classified as one. So I'm going to quickly map out sort of what this plan for the museum is going to be. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention those parking lots are going to be for like buses, for normal city tourism buses, school buses, and stuff like that, for field trips and all of that stuff. So you got to have a nice, lovely space for bus parking, and also just other parking, because you got a train station, you're going to have a museum. That is clearly not going to be able to fit everyone, so we'll put this over here, just another corner like this, and then this side is actually going to go quite long, I'd say to about this far. This far might do. Filling in this museum is going to be quite difficult, but luckily it's not filled with a bunch of rooms. It's filled with a bunch of, large open spaces for holding things, and detailed rooms that would be in like a skyscraper are not as common, so that'd be the corner of that, and it would sort of be all of that space. I have some great plans. I have this nice lovely paper right here. You can hear that. I would take a picture of it and include it in the video, but yeah, that would require a bit too much work, and I'm trying to make this video a bit quick, but so yeah, that's pretty much what it'll be. It'll go a little bit down that way, and the twist part that I was mentioning, that the piece that's a museum but not really a museum, is a zoo. But you never thought of that. So I'm going to kind of combine the museum and a zoo into a similar thing. Of course, they're going to be like separate, but still technically part of the same thing. So we'll have like one entrance to the zoo over there right next to the museum, and we'll have like another entrance down that way. And I've always had this plan to build a zoo in Minecraft. Like ever since the game first came out, I've always had this plan, this specific site in mind of how I would build one, but it's never happened. It's been over 6 years since this game came out, probably like nearly 7 years since I've had that idea, but 7 years ago. Wow, I was like 10 years old, and I was thinking of that. So I'll finally be able to, make that dream come true in here. So it's gonna be a rather small zoo, but it will still be pretty good. I'll have all the nice, lovely Minecraft animals in there. It won't just be a bunch of fake stuff. So that should be pretty fun. But aside from that, this video has gotten to a proper length. I don't think I need to explain too much more. I'll get into that into a future episode. The only problem is, like, when I'm building this is that it's long, repetitive stuff, like building all those lanes of roads. And because I took such a long break from Minecraft, and it totally broke my flow of, like, how I sort of got, like, acclimated to this game for like 7 months. I just sort of stopped that. So now whenever I go to do this, I get like this weird headache pain if I do for too long because it's just so repetitive but tedious at the same time. So that's why I prefer to build stuff. I prefer to make the videos because I actually get to work on that, and all the time in between is just sort of the boring filling stuff in and stuff like that. So that's why it doesn't seem like there's so much work done in between episodes now, and also just because I'm taking a bit more of a break in terms of the work I put into this, not just so that it's easier for me, but so it's far more enjoyable for me, and hopefully more enjoyable for you, because I'm making actual quality content now. I'm a lot more proud of my videos now that actually have a little bit of editing, or at least the building episodes. The updates videos are just sort of one single take, but yeah, I'm really enjoying that, and I hope you are as well. So I guess that'll do it for this episode. Next week we will start building the museum, hopefully. Definitely I'm going to start building the museum. I'll try and finish as much of this stuff as I can, and we can actually get into some of the fun stuff, because I'm really looking forward to building the museum. So thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye!